really squirrely now. More overbought, lower price, but now we're getting this triple divergence starting to kick in here. This is a nice long-legged divergence to give you this nice, but once again, oh, that's not quite a reversal. Yeah, I don't see it. Here's a nice bottom become a top on the weekly. But boy, the volatility has really dropped off here. It's going to be something else on this euro. Go to the monthly RSI. 3-period RSI, though. At least I don't have a 14-period RSI in the monthly. Now that would be like watching paint dry. Oh, 0 people watching. So that's it. I know my stream died. Oh, that because that video stopped, I think. Yeah, it's late. Now, the market's closing in 40 minutes. Did anybody make any money? Let's see if I'm making any fucking money. Okay, I'm up 29 bucks. Look at that. Oh, I think they took my stream down. I don't see anybody. Looks like they pulled the plug on me. I don't know. Maybe I lost my internet. Boy, that was weird. You'll see noticeable on December 13 and 14, you may see a noticeable decrease in your subscriber count as we remove spam from your channel. Oh boy. Really? They're going to remove spam from my channel. Great. Yeah, no, when I'm on my desktop, I have to look at my tablet to see my stream. Yeah, if I go, it's so weird because it came out with this announcement. I guess it blocked my desktop stream. But like YouTube's warning me that I might lose I notice, I mean, I'm really not paying too much attention. I think I have 2,000 subscribers, but that's pretty amazing considering I haven't hit the, don't forget to click and like button. Don't forget to hit the hate button. But, you know, RSI on the monthly with the 3-period RSI, look at this beautiful divergence up here. Man, what a just clean mountaintop. And if I was to draw a trend line on RSI, and you're getting in on the break, you're getting in earlier than, well, maybe not, maybe slightly earlier. Here's the trend line that kind of goes along with this trend line. We get the divergence, and then if we assume this is divergence, then we're going to try to sell the shoulder. Look at this really compressed. Of course, this is the trapped under unfair value, but I remember this. RSI in the 3-period is like 0.3 here. Now, this is when buying oversold could be a problem. You bought here, it was oversold. You thought that RSI below 30 was a good idea, and that was up in here. And you're like, holy shit. Here's your last reversal sell as it goes more overbought. The price is kind of flatlining. Then you get this pretty decent divergence, long-legged. Sellers come in here, but not really a reversal. And at the moment, yeah, see, this monthly is just, it takes forever to get a fucking update on that, you know? It's just take forever. Yeah, they're coming. I guess I'm doing good if people hate me, right? So, if I go to the British pound, I want to see what the British pound looks like. Yeah, so the British pound's getting clobbered. And look at this, I'm up 28 bucks. I think I'm going to take all profits into the, I guess, I don't know. I guess let it go. So if I have really wide stops, I would probably ride it over the weekend because I've assumed that risk already. I guess you have to make, you know, if you're going to stick to a strict exit point. But of course, if I'm getting out in a basket and 80% of that thing's cashed out and there's just a little bit left, I might want to go flat. And I guess they call this discretionary trading because you're still making a decision based on, okay, so the market has retraced back to the area that it plunged into. Now, should you just go flat and go looking for another void, or should you, assuming at that point you're going to have, you're going to trade the market also, but just to experiment, this is pure limit system, but still taking off these profits before they reach their ultimate target. Unless you look at the chart and go, okay, well, we made it through that. And if so here's the thing, another thing is, do you tighten up your stops and protect the swing that you're in? Because you still have this initial enormous risk, initial bad ratios to get in the market, not to get kicked out, to scalp something, because you got to make something. They paid the account. Okay, come back and put some orders in. Now you're playing with the house's money. And to build the account that way, or to make money that way. And then to take more aggressive risk for less time periods, maybe a 30-minute thing, the news comes out, experiment with write a script that covers a 100 pip range and lasts for an hour. News comes out, let them smash it around, and maybe you inside there and you embed some scalps in there. And you layer it all up, and this way you have an order density. When the market comes plunging into your trap, instead of having just one bear trap, you've got like a mouse trap, you got a kangaroo trap, you got an elephant trap, and you got all these different sized traps. And just like, some guy wrote a book called Animal Spirits. The market's like an animal. And it runs here and then it runs there. Now, it's not to say that the market can't go into a trend mode on your limits and crush them out, but that's why you're still trading. Hopefully on another account or in that same account, you're still going to have to, but then it's hard to decide, it's hard to see your performance if you don't isolate some of the tactics you're using. But if you have a breakout system that you trade, it's just, pure goober stuff, that's any child could, you just say, you see a small, you can actually have the paint bars, I'm sure, where it has a certain color, it turns a certain color when it's below 10 pips, it's a blue bar. If it's below 20 pips, it's a green bar. And you have green bar scripts and red bar and blue bar scripts, and you could tell some man on the street here. And when you see this, do that. Hit this button when that candle, when that bar or that vertical rectangle. It's hard to even talk to somebody about the market if you know anything about it at this point. Your brain's poisoned. Like if I said to somebody, a newbie, you see those vertical rectangles? Of course, if I zoom in one level, they become kind of candles. But if I'm at this level, I'd say those vertical black rectangles, you see those? Yeah. Well, you see a small one, I want you to press this button. And the small being, maybe you have to have the indicator. I'm sure you can get it. Somebody should be able to build an indicator that says if the bar closes and it's under 15 pips, it's going to be white, whatever. And of course, that's the problem I have with that. And I thought about doing that, but then I laid down till the thought went away when I realized that I couldn't decide which color to put on which size pip thing. And I thought, now I got to do that across all the accounts, and then I got to remember that that's going to be the gray bars. How many pips again? So I just put up black bars and just looked at them and said, that looks like a small bar. Plus, where am I in the structure? So if I saw a small monthly bar, which you don't see a lot, this one jumps out at me. You got a top, bottom, and the cloud. Okay, that's one last trend trade on this chart in the British pound. Pulls back. And I'm sure there's RSI's got some bullshit in there. And then, that's, where am I going to get out? Well, hopefully I'm cashing out into this thing somewhere along the way. We never get filled on any sell limits up here. It's going to be quite the interest. The Bitcoin, I had some orders in there for the plunge. Let's see if I bring up my Bitcoin account. It's on the, this thing's covering up. My Mobius 7 is taking over. The whole desktop can't get to this trade. I want to take a look at sneak at the Bitcoin here. So this is gold struggling in the monthly. I heard some guy on the radio say gold's going to 10,000. Well, it reminds me of the guy last summer that said Bitcoin was going to 100,000. 100,000 commercial on the radio. Bitcoin's going to 100,000. Call on your crypto. This is in the middle of the summer, last summer. It's like 95 degrees outside, and really. Now they're saying, of course, the bull pony's still talking 10 grand on well, you're just printing money all day long. You gotta fucking, gold's just sideways forever. I'm using the Williams fractal to discover the unique opportunities in gold trading. I say sell the fucking, I told one guy in a video, sell the fucking, he goes, well, you can't do that. Yeah, it's just trade the fractal. He goes, you don't know it's going to be there till it's there. No, I'm saying on the previous one. I'm saying this is where you should be selling, right up by this triangle. You're buying these triangles. Look at this little baby bar trapped underneath. On fair value, a little bit on gold there. That was a good buy there on gold, just from the deep discount. But this thing's not going anywhere. I mean, $10,000. What are we building a base here? 5 years of sideways. It's eventually going to break out. Now, if it does break out, it's definitely have an issue here. It's going to have an issue here. It's going to have an issue here. But what about the whole time we're going sideways? Don't we have a little problem here on the south side? I mean, this is a huge vacuum. This is a small vacuum, but this one's monstrous. So if we ever start cutting into that, not gold at 500 an ounce, why not? What the fuck? Crude oil, I just saw gas at $2 here again. And gold is fucking boring, unless you're scalping it, right? I'll take a look at this Bitcoin here. I bought on limits. Hand placed no stop limits. Crude oil looks like it's ready to take another nosedive. So this is the first 1 week rally in crude. Wow. It looks like it's not, it looks like a dead cat bounce. We can fall under the table. Look at down at these white lines here. Of course, we were there in June. And gas was cheap back here. Oh, Bitcoin's taking a new nosedive. I'm getting filled on limits. Look at Bitcoin on its way to 3,000 even. I'm buying all the way into this thing. Here, I'll put some more limits in. I can't say I'm not taking some heat here. I'm down $1 million bucks or whatever, 1 million Bitcoins here. I've almost lost all my winnings this year trying to pick the bottom. I'm trying to pick the bottom in Bitcoin. Bitcoin. What a fucking joke. You don't understand, man. There's only so many numbers on the planet. And these video cards. And I saw the what the video card companies are selling off. Maybe I can get a cheap video card finally for my computer to use real video. They're bastardizing those video cards. Should that even be legal? We caught you mining a Bitcoin on your video card. You're just supposed to be watching porn. Now, what you doing there, boy? What? These are not just. They should probably have, the government's going to come out with it. If we don't see it, the whole computer shuts down if there's not porn on there at least 1 day a week. The Chinamen put fucking porn scanners into the video cards. Well, you can't let those Chinamen build your motherboards anymore because they got all sorts of Bitcoinware in there. So this, look at this. This is supposed to be the fucking support, man. We're right up on the fucking. We're banging up against support here in the Bitcoin. God damn, my wife should be so mad. I bought so many Bitcoins. I took a second mortgage out on the car I don't own. Let's see if I can stretch this. No, still can't do it. Well, look at this. Couldn't anybody see this coming? The monthly... I'm going to delete this. I spent so much time making it, but oh well. It's like Etch-a-Sketch. Look at that thing screaming back. Now, you would have thought this was supposed to be structural support. Not so much. The weekly's more hopeful. Boy, look at this dippity-do. I think I'd scale in, but boy, this isn't holding either, is it now? That's supposed to bounce off of this. Theoretically. Looks like we're going to this. What is this price? The bears are licking their chops. Well, $2,000 a Bitcoin. Well, you're only down from 20,000 to 2,000. That's not so bad. It'll come back. It'll come back, buddy. Hang in there. You can find another wife. They're all over the place. Oof. It's kind of sketchy. Man, we're coming up on... I'm scaling. I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm scaling into a loser. Boy, that thing's ferocious. In the weekend, you think they'll spike it down another... Man, it's not closing. It's kind of getting crushed. Oof. Here's the flag entry. Sideways. Bam. Bitcoin. Oh my God. Look at the mess. This looks like a buy. It's like sell here. Sell pound New Zealand. Somebody already did. Now here's a classic example of having your sell limits right up on these tops here, and you just scalped a nice clean. Is that 50 or 100 pips? 100 pips. 100 pip winner. Just selling up here. Yeah, what's weird is this currency is a buck. I know people trade this too. I think Cleve Sys trades pound New Zealand. Something like that. A wild pair. Just catastrophic. Look at this thing, man. What the fuck's going on? 100 pip grid. Oh, look at that. Wow, what a scalp. If you could handle that punishment, a 300 pip entry. If you could handle this deep dive discount here. So here's my trading strategy for limit entry. Is you've got 100 pip grid, and this is a candidate for the big monster. Look at the spread here. Sucks. At 3 coming into close, 3 pips. Because you don't care. You're making 100 goddamn pips. I mean, how greedy are you? First buy limit's here. So you're buying a 200 pip window. Actually, you're prepared to buy 400 pips. Everybody scalps to here. All right, once it crushes down fresh, we get out. Scalpers get out. Then the engulfers hold on. It bags the 100-yard line. The scalpers come in, and you're cashing out. They're going to come in. Then if you think it's going to turn around here, next week you put your buy limits down here. Maybe you don't get filled. So what I'd like to do is put limits in, and then I watch the 4-hour chart maybe to put in shallower limits, or maybe I rarely would try to buy this at the market because I just kind of know that if I go to the 4-hour chart, I'm like, okay, well, 4-hour chart, we got a top. Double top becomes a bottom on the 4-hour chart. So it's an obvious structure thing. Low volatility breakout systems come in here because with the spread that wide, I wouldn't want to put sell stops in there. I just kind of want to hit the key. I'd be selling at the market on this big up thing into this. Then we walk down. the bears money management stops just got triggered. They got stopped out. This triggers the volatility breakout, people. I don't think it's going to do a clean. It's not going to just go like that. And we could still come down and have our buy limits here on the back. This is the 4-hour chart. Oh wait, I gotta get this some off screen here. But yeah, that's I don't usually look at this currency pair, but you know, it all stays the same here structurally. There's your top bottom in the 4-hour. And then here's an internal top bottom. So in the middle of fair value, there's a mini top becomes a bottom. And here's another faint trend. Here's the trap at the 100. You make your first 100. Then here comes the engulf all the way back to this floor. The spreads, this is not a scalping, not good for scalping, but for 4-hour swing trading, this is a great pair. Here's a beautiful trap. Look at this. You know this fucking drama there, and then it comes in, everybody makes their 100, and then people hang on for the next 100, hoping for it to go to here. It never makes it. Eventually it makes it to there. It goes crashing through. But if you have your orders, if you trade really spaced out orders, then you make money in both directions on that. The CAD to the yen. I got 19 minutes left in the market. Go to the 4-hour. And I got the RSI right on the bottom there. Like so, once you get used to looking at the RSI, you see this is your signal as a more oversold, higher price. It's not a ton of pips, but I put a 20 and a 10, 80, 90 sell window here. So if you just take your sells on the window there, it looks like we're going to go crashing down into this shit. So I'd have a array of buy limits in there. And this is kind of a messy looking currency on the 4-hour. It's very, very rangy. Go for the daily chart, maybe something less noisy. Huh. Yeah, I guess you missed your sell here on the trap. They trapping people. Or just coming back to this around 100, but this wick here, like they nicked this wick. This looks like the place to plunge it into now. What else we got? What else I got in this fucking thing? Euro to the pound. This is a nutty pair. This is good for limits though. Wow. Yeah, the euro looks very bullish here. Sellers came in there. This is the bounce. And then this is the obvious daily top bottom before it started cutting into these. Selling all the way up into this on limits. Definitely selling a ton above this. I'll be cashing out there if I'm long. I gotta get out here on something. That's probably the biggest target. Can't be too greedy. Oh, what else is there? Let's see. Yeah, if you're holding on to a losing trade, you know, it's funny because people would say, cut your losses short. Now, I always thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Because I would never do that. I would trade without stops. I just put 100 or $200 in a trading account and trade without stops and just be having too much fun letting losers become winners again. And that's what I thought, well, retracement and swing trading is quite a bit of money to be made there. God, was McAfee say that he's scaling into that? I guess, you know, if you're going to get in lightly, right? But it is funny because is it going down because people are realizing that it's ridiculous, or is Bitcoin going down because there was too many people on the train? And I was wondering about the, you know, the reason, but it is, for whatever reason, it has gone down. I just think it's just a big bubble pop, but I just think that when you're 20 grand, that's when people are just too overly excited, I think. Looks like dollar going to kill Canadian. It's still drifting up. Now this would be quite the contest to sell into the Canadian. I'd have to do it on the. So I did do some selling on my tablet, and it was on the 15-minute chart, and I put some sell limits up here like this, just for a scalp. Look at this thing. It's insane. The guppy. Here's the buy, and the guppy is buying this bottom here. And you'd be out of that trade right now. Maybe you're holding for another. And next week I put the buy limits down there. And the weekly crude does look like it's going to tank again. Oh, what the fuck was that? New Zealand. Okay, so this is a great candidate for limits next week on New Zealand. Okay, got 14 minutes left in the market. I'm still sitting at $21 a profit. Not a lot going on here at the end. So and here's kind of a difficult chart to look at, but if you're a breakout trader, you don't want that line chart. I think that's a time structure trader, but if you look at this from a standpoint of just a pure volatility, like the guy was saying, to me this is a volatility indicator. And it's just nothing but a bar. No color, no close, no nothing. Can you see the volatility breakout trades on here? So easy. You're looking for, this is a 50 pip grid on the 4 hour. Right now, is this, I think it's 50. Yeah, it's got to be 50. On the 4 hour chart. And so you're looking for breakouts of, that's 5. That can't be 50. That's 5 pip grid. So let me put the, okay, this is better. 5 pip grid. I'm looking for a 20 pip 4 hour bar. Anything under 20, I'm going to put a buy stop and a sell stop. And if it's got a 4 hour range that is less than 10, or less than 14, the smaller the bar, the bigger I trade and the tighter stop. Same dollar amount risk. Of course, when I get really close to the spread here, which the spread's typically tight on these manipulated markets. So this is another thing that I could show somebody that's never doesn't know anything about trading. This also falls under the category of you don't need to know where the market's going to make money. So let me go and scan for the entries. Looking for a bar that's 15 pips or less. Buy stop, sell stop, buy stop, sell stop. Now, you also have to be aware of this, though. The trap. And you can see the 4 hour rooftop here. You can also see the vacuums really easy. Here's a glorious trade. 15 pip bar. This one doesn't qualify, but maybe a robot that has a little bit more, or a person that has a little bit more risk appetite, they run a wider stop. They keep getting filled here, and now you're caving into this vacuum. Buyers come in, Here comes the ATR true range bar. People are getting in there. They write it back to there. And here's another perfect entry. Buy stop triggered. Sell stop is not. Unfortunately, you got to get out of something here. And the rest is extra. Here's the 4-hour rooftop. The sellers start to come in. We got sellers all the way to there. Here's the first profit they make, and then really pays off. Here's the other, dead cat bounce, and then look at this, 8 hours of nothing, and this is the most tightest. This is the only time on this chart, other than like maybe here, where you just get like, this is another real long flag or sideways market doji. Pretty interesting here. And the decisions you make here would be, there's no trade right now. You're waiting for this 4-hour bar to stop, to simmer down, and now you can come in with your tight stop breakout strategy. So it's only triggered by a small drifty market. And of course, you could still put in your limits. It's really easy to see the holes now that you don't have a distraction, whether that's a hammer or a sickle. And this is so the edge, support. It's so clean and simple. You just have high and low. High and low, no open, no close. It doesn't really get any more crude, but it is a little distracting if you're used to candles because you're disorientated. You want to know, well, is that a bullish? Is that an engulf? You just don't care. This is more like an inside day. If you trade inside day breakouts trading, inside day is really just less volatility than the previous bar. And I wouldn't force it to be an inside day. It doesn't have to be inside day. That's another filter. I think there's too much filtering. But I say some people don't want any, oh, I'm using a 3-period RSI. Very fast. 2-period was too fast. 3-period RSI with closing prices, so I can see the relationship between the close and the index. Trade futures. Yeah, you trade the futures. You could do it on the future. I don't have any futures charts up, but it's, I don't know if the futures is a 24-hour market because the, you can get abandoned babies and stuff. You can get cool candle patterns on the, I think if the futures market gaps open and you have a 1-hour small bar, that's different than if the market gap opens and it has a big bar. So right there you have like this way of making just objective sense out of price action or lack of price action. So this template where you strip out the closing prices, because the closing prices tell the structure story, and the range just tells you volatility, pure volatility. Oh, look at they're coming down here. So market's going to close in 7 minutes. I'm going to put just a crazy bunch of orders right there and see if they spike me on. So I'm just treading water here. I'm only up $21 on close. I'm just going to let it go. Let it go, see what happens. If I don't touch any of my things and close it down at the end of the week, now it's another view that you could say, place all your orders for the whole week. And of course, if they get filled, then you see another opportunity. But at the end of the week, win, lose, or draw, you close all open and pendings. Start over next week's. Right now, you can't really backtest that because it's so complicated with all these orders I'm putting in. But if you want to go flat into the weekend, because things could get crazy on the weekend, like I said, if turns out that Putin, has been, he's got Trump's DNA on his lips or something like that. It happens weird. And it's like, the market opens on Monday and they discover that, hey, you know what, we don't, of course, it doesn't seem like anybody's shocked by anything. Markets are pretty resilient, it looks like, because there's a bunch of news that's supposedly, bad. bad news. I don't know what does to the markets, but probably just creates volatility. Okay, we got a whole 6 minutes of drama here. Looks pretty fizzled out. But yeah, the McAfee guy, I do think he's intelligent, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with you saying and stuff. Here's the session indicator where those are the next 6-hour blocks to come. And that's a 20 pip grid. But yeah, I don't know. The Bitcoin thing is fascinating as all can be, I must say. People believe in, you know, all sorts of stuff, but yeah, the McAfee guy is something else, though. Isn't this guy, he's so rich, he just kind of hit out, and then people were looking for him. But I've seen him on YouTube speaking in public, but it was weird because he was like, oh, God, I'm just so rich, bye-bye. And he was over in, I can't remember what country he was in, Australia or something. It's like, I also saw another interview with this guy who makes, like, I don't know what he did, but he's super rich. I want to say he made a game. And he's over there in some country in some big house and just like a big ranch. You drive way up to the house. And some guy interviewed him. Just bizarre people. It was high-tech gurus or high-tech people that just got in to a booming market, just an insane. And of course, then they got a brand. And then people are all just like, oh, look at this. I got this brand. I got that brand. The branding, you know. Sacred geometry. Yeah, you got to bow down to the charts. Where's the guy? Where's the true charting guru that prints out his charts on fucking rag paper, on maybe organic print paper, and then in the morning puts down his, instead of a prayer towel, you just get down on the charts, and of course, you know, maybe cover with some visqueen or something. And then, you know, bow down to the almighty charts, because it's sacred geometry. Draw them out with a crayon in your mouth. I don't want any kind of rituals, though. There is some rituals that I suppose makes you feel safer. You know, I have like to throw the orders in there. I feel like I'm fishing for, you know, looking to see if I can catch anything. And I guess I don't care because I'm not trying to catch a certain kind of fish. Take minnows, you know, scalps, and you just have the... very rarely do you see a nice big kahuna move. So that takes some time, you know. But in the meantime, I definitely can't wait to scalp coming into Sunday night. Leo. Who's Leo? Is he some... yeah, Andrew's charts. So the guy that I spent... God, I think I spent $2,000 for his course, and then I went to see him for like $800 down in New Orleans, this Andrew Cardwell. I just figured it out. Like because I was like, what's the secret? And of course, being really excited about the fact that I had a computer and I could just crunch numbers. He's like, oh, you don't understand. I go, what do you mean? He says, well, when we were charting the commodities market, what we would do is his assistant, this girl, would... they would draw out the RSI by hand, and he actually writes down the number of the index to the RSI, and every time he makes a turn, he puts a little dot there, and then he writes the RSI value there. And he said that we ran out of paper because the market kept going up, so instead of getting a new piece of paper starting over, they just started to tape paper onto that, and you really get the sense this thing's really literally off the chart, and they would just add paper to it. And I thought, well, that's the fucking key, because what he's doing is every time he draws on the chart, he's... literally in the market. I mean, he literally has this feel for the market tactilely with real paper. And it does make a difference, because I've written charts before where I draw down the trade plan and just it embeds in your mind. Just, you know, when I first was studying Elliott Wave, and I thought, well, and the whole top bottom thing, I'm like, let me just write. When I started to explain it to people, of course I had to tell my mom right away, look at this top bottom theory. My mom's like, okay, do you want something to eat? Like, it's just really, you know, about being excited about these pivots and stuff. But yeah, when you draw, you're like, okay. And then, of course, now you feel safer about the trade plan, I suppose. You know, that's definitely a key, is to connect with, I got 1 minute left. Let me see if I'm making any money here. Sitting there at 21. Yeah, so I'm hoping they're going to spike this down in the last 30 seconds here and fill my order. Okay, 10 seconds left to pick up some more margin. Not going to happen. Of course, the spread 1.3 pips on the New Zealand there. Well, there you go. I think this broker might actually close 5 minutes before all the other brokers. That Bitcoin's taking on chin there. I'm going to ride that Bitcoin down. I wrote it up. When Bitcoin was going up, I sold it on this exact same broker who won't let you in anymore. What a fucking... They really slammed the door on the Americans. I got an account at this Evolve Markets, but if you try to open an account now, they say, oh no, sorry. I like the Forex brokers you go to, and they have this big thing that pops up and says, oh, sorry, you're from the United States. I'm sorry, but you're from a third world country. They do have a bunch of restrictions, though. Having studied all these brokers and looking for restrictions, because I could see, oh gosh, can't trade. Oh, can't trade. What can't? But the stuff, the other people that are blocked out is like, oh, you're from Nigeria, you can't trade here. Look at Litecoin getting crushed. The only cool thing about Bitcoin is that it does trade over the weekend, so it's really good for trade junkies. $22 on Litecoin. Boy, it's getting lighter every minute. And I just never really could... The amount of work to go into this, you got to get a Bitcoin wallet, you got to have a device, you got to double authentication. Holy shit, I'm tired. Can't I just go put money in my Forex? I bought a car with Bitcoins. Well, not with this Bitcoins. I think I put $16 here as the floor on the... we're coming near my target of $16, $17 on Litecoin. Boy, this volatility here has got to scare the shit out of you. Look at that perfect doji on the weekly. See, candles really do work. I told you. Son, you don't understand. I took a candlestick course from Steve Nation. His books are really big. I dropped one of his books on my toe once. I'm still fucking recovering. Reconstructive surgery. This doji here, I got the wrong colored triangle. There's dojis in them fields, son. I got the doji identifier. And don't forget to subscribe to my doji signal service. But now it's just doji upon doji, which means we have to look for the larger doji. Oh boy. They're all just fucking... Look at this thing. This is the golden entry. Wow. A gravestone just before the explosion. Wow. Cowabunga. There's a bullish candle. It was an uptrend I bought on pullbacks, but now I'm getting crushed. Damn it. This always happens to me. Oh, got a little retracement here right at the close of business. Should have put a fucking buy limit right here. I'm putting in bigger tickets now too. Oh, there's a 16 banger. That'll blow the account up. Yep. So, I don't know. Please hold. Your call is very important to us. I know that you opened your account here at optionsellers.com. And what I'd like to say is that since you sent me three Cuban sandwiches that I think I owe you at least another. I think I owe you a Reuben with extra sauerkraut.
Good afternoon. This is James Cordier of optionsellers.com with a market and account update for November 16, 2018. Needless to say, the events of this past week have been incredibly devastating for our clients, who I rarely call clients.
I usually call them suckers, but that's in private.
Around the office, and sometimes on phone calls, I refer to our clients as family.
And you know how I love to abuse my family. In fact, my mom's buried out back.
On what we call a new client call, I often thanked and told the new client that we were so happy that you were joining our family.
Welcome aboard the good ship on Lollipop. You know, my dad used to sail ships, and welcome aboard. You're a member of the family.
Dr. Steve, your wonderful wife in LA.
Dr. Steve was a surgeon who made quite a few million dollars. You know, he really did make quite a bit of money. And so, you know, he was able to make that money to invest it in our scheme of going naked into some positions with all that money you made doing brain surgery. And I hope you don't mind, because I wrote a book. I saw that the guy wrote a book. Have you seen the book this guy wrote? The guy that's doing the apology. Oh, geez. And he was been on TV and interviewed. Kind of like the guy that, who's the guy that they found porn under his car seat when they pulled him over, the preacher? Oh boy, so some stuff just doesn't turn out. There's my email. So yeah, I know he takes such dramatic pauses that you can't really you can't tell if I'm not playing him or he's pausing. You have to listen for the white noise.
I'm happy to share with you that Chris's ailments that we discussed so eloquently are gone. She's feeling just great.
That must be his wife. And I'm glad that you were able to eloquently speak about it instead of crudely like I would have. Like, yeah, she's so sick, we're thinking about taking her out back and shooting her.
Kurt and Grace in Michigan.
Kurt and Grace, if you're still married, that's a big shout out to you. I like his size. I should string together his size.
So sorry to say that we never got to go bass fishing.
And we probably never will.
I wound up walleye fishing on Lake Erie. It was not nearly as satisfying.
Yeah, the walleye, you know, they're yummy, but it just wasn't the same as having you show up, you know, your family.
Had I got to go with you. A client in Kansas City.
Just wait, the Yellow Brick Road's coming to you one day. You just hope that your house landed on the Wicked Witch of the options shorting world.
Thank you so much for the barbecue sauce.
Damn good sauce, and I must say, we enjoyed it thoroughly at your time. I can't believe you sent us sauce when we were blowing up your account, but we do appreciate it.
I will enjoy it and think of you always in the future.
Yeah, because in the past would be difficult, but moving ahead.
For Larry and Rex.
Larry and Rex, the gay couple that came into our family and decided to take all the money they made, and some of these gay guys can make a ton of money in the real world. They brought over to options sellers, and we were able to put them back in the poorhouse. Now they're selling themselves on Craigslist for dating. They had to whore each other out to rebuild their account.
Looks like I owe you a Cuban sandwich.
Cuban sandwiches is code talk like Pizzagate. A Cuban sandwich is a big giant hung Chippendale dancer.
For a client in Marseille, my wife and I were certainly looking forward to joining you, the French Riviera. Sounded so beautiful. Our clients on the Gold Coast in Australia. I was hoping to see that beautiful sunset you spoke of so many times.
But no, this guy's actually back online, and he's saying that you can come trade with me, but I need twice as much money, and I could lose it all. He's back in business. He's saying, you know what? If we could have rode out that rogue wave, and let's take a look at the rogue wave that he rode out. I think I got it on here. Natural gas trade. Oof. Oh boy. See, if he just went hung in there, they pulled back to the breakout point. He got in short here. Let's identify the problem this guy ran into. See, he could have, if he just had one more Cuban sandwich, he could have fucking withstood back to the breakout point on natural gas. He was right. It pulled back, came back to the breakout.
More locally, Troy.
Troy?
I was really hoping to become a boating enthusiast with you.
It's all right. You capsized. You drowned. Oh, there's so many boating metaphors here. Fishing and boating. This guy's a real waterworks guy. He's in the water sports pretty heavy. Cuban sandwiches and beaches.
That I will miss. John, we talked about you a lot in the office.
You were the biggest sucker. You had the most amount of money. You were the biggest investor we had. Oh my God. We marveled how much money you brought. We thought, why don't you just take this money? Part of us wanted to say, you're that rich? Dude, just keep it. You're 80, you're 60 years old. Go enjoy the rest of your life. We'll probably just blow up your account.
Not sure you know it, but your name was Boca.
we had a nickname for you, so we couldn't believe how much money you had. I say had. Now you're starting over, trying to figure out how to rebuild it. You know, John,
and though you thought I didn't enjoy our afternoon chats,
even though you were the most boring motherfucker I've ever talked to, but dude, when you have that much money to invest with you, I'm buying knee pads, okay?
I actually did. Good luck in Texas.
With your exes.
Also here locally, the biggest hockey fan in the world. Jeff, you know who you are. All I wanted to do was sit with you and watch a game.
All I want to do is have some fun. You and Sheryl Crow.
The next time I'm at the arena, I know you'll be there. And I'll pretend I was sitting next to you.
Oh boy. So he's going to do a little astral projection. This is where you do like remote viewing. I'll be sitting next to you. You'll sense me. Oh, deep breath in, and don't forget to let go of the breath. You got to let go.
For the last several years, many people would ask me if I'm reading from a script. And
I had to admit, yes.
I can assure you I never was. But our audiovisual guy always said to me to keep it short. Well, he certainly won't be happy with the length of the update today. So many of you chose to entrust in us the ability to navigate in the world of investing.
This is the Ether coin chart. Ether coin's sitting at a fantabulous price of $83. I know we got it at 1,300, but just hang in there, guys. It's buy and pullbacks.
Practically every time we spoke of positioning your account the best we could, I referred back to my father, who used to sail an 800-footer.
Well, imagine sailing how about the guy over to Italy that beached the cruise ship showing off for his girlfriend? Is that like 800 feet or like 2,000 feet, the cruise ship he beached down in Italy?
On the Great Lakes. And I always talked about steering your investment like a boat. I remember so many times saying, if you're steering the wheel,
don't hit the beach.
And someone's watching you and you're
steering the wheel? Is that right? Steering the wheel? That sounds awkward. It's like that guy was hanged. They hung him. They didn't hang him. He was hanged. That sounds wrong.
making small turns, that's good. And if you're making large turns, it's probably what you don't want to see.
Why not? I mean, I want to make a large turn. I want to turn around and I want to get back to where it was years ago when I was young and dumb.
In the Wall Street Journal this week, it spoke on and on about the movements in the crude oil market and the natural gas market. It talked about the incredible volatility that cost funds and fund managers and hedge funds their livelihood. And clearly they had a livelihood because they had investors. This rogue wave that I was unable to navigate.
Oh, hang in there, buddy. Everybody takes the losses. It's part of the game. Come on. It's only a rogue wave if you're in really big.
Has likely cost me my hedge fund. And the reason why I had a hedge fund
Position sizing matters is what you're trying to tell us. What can we learn from this?
is because you are clients. I promise you, every day when I woke up and I would check the markets, I was checking for rogue waves.
This is just exquisite stupidity. So when I'm in a trade, I do the same thing. I'm in 150K that I got in on 1Ks. And I'm like, should I stay in this trade or should I just scalp out? And like, there's nothing to protect me other than my stops. I'm looking at the market going, well, you know, this thing I'm in, I'm at the mercy of whatever is going on here. I mean, checking the market for a rogue wave, of course, but it's too late. I'm checking to see if they stop me out. I'm really checking to see if they fucking abused my tickets. But this guy's in naked, checking for a rogue wave. It's too late. After you see it, aren't you just bye-bye? Oh, look at that. Look at, yeah, that rogue wave. I was looking for that, and fuck, I woke up. I was in the middle of it.
Often when I spoke to you on the phone, we'd be on speaker, and I had my two hands in front of me like they were on a wheel of a boat.
Did he really do that? Now this is exquisite. You have to see this visual. Now imagine I've got you on speakerphone, and I'm going to navigate you like an 800-pound bauxite freighter. And what I'm going to do when you're on speakerphone with me, just to keep it real, I'm going to put my hands. Now, this is like Jordan Peterson didn't sleep for a month. This, I have a hard time believing that you're on speakerphone with this guy. He's wearing his Rolex, and at some point in the conversation, while on speakerphone, he does this to you.
Speaker.
Wait.
Markets. I was checking for...
Here we go.
I promise you, every day, when I woke up and I would check the markets, I was checking for rogue waves. Often when I spoke to you on the phone, we'd be on speaker, and I had my two hands in front of me like they were on a wheel of a boat.
I just have a hard time believing this.
And I always want to make the best turns for you. And I tried making small ones. And I truly invested your funds like you were family.
I remember what I told you about my family. They're buried out back. You ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I am so...
I should say, have you ever seen, was it Lizzie Borden? 50 Wax? Or how about the Menendez brothers?
Sorry that I was unable...
Oh boy, this is...
I am so sorry that I was unable to manage the rogue wave.
A fucking rogue wave. God damn it.
That hit us this week.
Boom.
I wish I could name you all by person right now, all 290 clients of ours.
Ouch. All 290 of yous. Even the big whale that came in and I listened to his dumbass conversations. He didn't think I liked his dumbass stories, but I did. I mean, that's kind of numbers you can't deny. You got that much money, dude. I'll listen to you have sex with a fucking midget.
You were my family.
Now, does he show... what I would say to people is every time I talk to you on speakerphone, I have my hand on the gear shifter, whether we're going to go long or short. And I have one hand on the steering wheel. And I'm trying to make really wide turns while shifting.
And I'm sorry that this...
So sorry. He's from out... Who talks like that? Where's my car? Yeah, did you park your car? I'm sorry.
Rogue wave.
It's like when Trump says horrible. It's horrible. No, dude, it's horrible. It's not horrible.
Capsize our boat.
Capsize the ship, buddy. A boat fits on a ship, right? Isn't that how that works?
In the coming days, in the coming weeks,
I will be on suicide watch, and I'll be selling my Rolex to pay for the gun I'm going to use to blow my brains out.
our office doors will be open. Our phones will be answered. And any questions that you might have, my staff, Rosemary, and Alicia and Matt and Michael will do their best to answer
like they've done so far.
the questions you might have and somehow help.
Yeah, can I get one of the pins with your name on it? Can I get a calendar? You got any office supplies, maybe?
I want to thank you all for becoming part of our family. I wish you all the best. Because every morning when I woke up,
Oh boy. This is the quintessential bottom line. Every morning when I woke up, I have the same problem. I'll fall asleep in a position and I'll wake up going, oh, look, I'm up. I should probably get out. Roll waves on its way.
and I checked the markets, and my wonderful wife made us dinner.
So, he says in the morning, but he is having dinner, and so he goes through the whole day. His wonderful wife's making him dinner.
And I took my laptop and sat it next to me.
Now, I've done this. I do this. I sleep with a tablet, so I can relate to this problem. I go to sleep after my Wi-Fi doesn't have me, after I go and get carry out, and I set the tablet next to me, and I make sure there's not a rogue wave coming after my position.
While I was sipping a glass of wine,
And while having myself a cheeseburger.
because I want to check on the markets and make sure that they were okay.
So I'll make sure that's like having a pet orangutan. I want to make sure it was okay, that it wasn't getting upset or feisty and slamming around up and down and making my equities swing like a whore and stopping me out.
I am so sorry for not managing our ship.
I let go of the wheel, and it spun around like the SS Minnow, and now we're 4-hour cruise turned into a goddamn lifetime of disaster.
And keeping her afloat. I bid you great luck and good health.
You're going to need it.
And please feel free to call our office if you'd ever want to speak to any one of us.
Wow.
Thank you. And be well and good health.
That's all you got is your
Good
health.
afternoon. This is
What a classic. It just doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, he was definitely, but no, he just really, he could have put a stop on that trade, though. He was trading without stops. He literally was trading naked. And I've done that before. Like I said, trading without stops. It's a lot of fun, and you look like a genius until it doesn't. But if you had, what I don't understand is, why would he be so heavily in one instrument? Why wouldn't he must know that if he'd offset that, and if you're options trader, there's all sorts of complicated strategies like butterflies, and there's a way to cover that call in some regard to, of course, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money on the other side of the trade and give up some of your profits a little bit. Maybe 20% is going to cost you to hedge it. But you can come back, and you don't have to make an apology on YouTube. You could actually have said, well, you know what, we have a risk manager. He apparently had no risk manager. Somebody should have said, just like the whale, these people that have just destroyed shit, somebody's got to step up and go, dude, let's, what doesn't make sense to me is, look at the natural gas trade this guy's in. At what point does he tell himself, let me take a look at the monthly range. I'm in natural gas. I'm an options trader. And I'm going to go, Now, he was going short, granted. So he made money here, I bet. In 2015, he went short before the volatility kicked up. He might have made money on this trade here. And here's that top bottom on the closing prices. So here's your breakout point. And of course, here is anytime, if you're an options trader and you're writing puts and calls here, yeah, you're kind of making, if you're writing puts and calls, you're making money. So if you have a hedged, you're not naked. So you would collect a premium here during this no volatility. But he's naked short guy. And here, if he would have sold, if he would have written calls to people. So he's going to sell calls to people, and he'll make a bunch of money here. But you got to believe that when it's going like this is scary. Like, it could go either way, and it's going to go hard. And he was probably making some, I would say, if he's really waiting for the expiration to collect the premium, then he was doing really good up to that point. Maybe he pyramided the account. Like, in other words, your account's up, let's risk. We're going to still risk 50% of your account. And then, who knows how these 290 people, maybe they had losses before, but never like this. So they expected some kind of fluctuation in their account. But boy, this has got to be the longest consolidation I can see on the chart. This really is very quiet. Boy, you're really gonna bet long or short here without any cover. And maybe he was famous because he sold calls up here, at resistance, and that's how he got a name for himself and wrote a book. But you can get so comfortable in your strategy being, this is another very wicked flag here. Other than this one, I can't think of another time. This is a narrow range before a huge breakout. Narrow range, huge breakout. There's no other closing prices in the monthly. This is too crazy to be. You'd have to be a swing trader here, But boy, this one little blip blew him up. Isn't that amazing? This one little blip. And how many people? And crude oil is going through the floor as natural gas is going up. Apparently that's what was going on there. And then maybe if he was short crude, he could have maybe made up for that, though, right? Because crude was tanking. That's why he's claiming that he blew up these accounts. Whereas if you go to the monthly crude, his shorts would have made money here. If he's a seller, I don't see why he's... but I guess when oil went down, natural gas went up. Maybe there's some inversion there. Well, look at this Bitcoin. I'm up on this fucker. I wish I would have bought down here. Bitcoin took a nice rally there on the weekend, so maybe it retraces a little bit. It's got some work to do. We got to make it past this pivot. This double bottom becomes a top right here, so we got to make it past this price. And maybe it does go up again to 10,000. We're trapped under this right now, and then we're trapped under this currently. I keep forgetting I can't fix the scale on this, but this is the floor we're underneath. So are we... The scalpers have had their fun. They're out. I don't know if they can engulf from here. That thing's just punished. It is running out of steam to the downside, though. Starting to get divergence off of this bottom, I'm sure, and somewhere in here. It's getting too quiet, Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna go get some vittles. Go back to the vittle. I gotta go down to the store here and grab myself some grub. Vittles. There's the guys I opened up with. Library of Congress, Chamber Music, Lincoln Center. Now, if they give me copyright infringement on this, I'll just be cracking up. I didn't know the government could sell their What's a chick on piano? Nice shoes. They got an XY microphone set. Oh, simmer down. How do you get this gig? This chick, like I said, that chick's got to lay back on that piano. She's going to hurt it. God, they're on a budget. Look, they're using the piano bench to sit on. They got to... That was a cool lick there, and this guy really screeched into that violin, man. He was almost broke the fucking string on that. Wow, she got up off the seat. He was like Tori Amos there for a second. Who knew? Yeah, well, enjoy your evening and stay away from the classical music. God, if you didn't know any better, you'd think these guys are joking. Isn't that just a little bit too much body language? This guy on the cello is looking over him like, you guys are too fucking animated for being violinists. He's like my fucking... He's like, my wife warned me about two guys on a piano bench. Oh wait, well, this guy's on a piano bench, the other guy's on his, brought his own chair. Wow. Yeah, 2 hours of that. These must be the greatest hits of symphony music. I don't know what they're doing. And how do you get that gig? Okay, so good luck. And I'm going to ride the storm out on this demo. My limit demo experiment. Thanks for coming to the Comedy of Forex show. And say hi to the no-nonsense trader for me.